Hi, welcome back. This week you're going to be learning a reading strategy called Making Inferences, and you'll be practicing it for the next 3 weeks. So I wanted to go and just kind of teach you a little bit about what making inferences is and how to do it. Making inferences is basically you take what you already know and you put it together with what you're learning and you draw conclusions or you make best guesses about things that you have just learned. Um, so why do we want to do this? Basically, sometimes you want to do it to determine the main idea. Sometimes you want to look for reasons for things. You're guessing why a character's acting the way they're doing or why a company is doing what, the process that they're taking or whatever. You're also drawing some conclusions, so you're making those kind of connections too. And of course, I'm going to show you some examples from a web page and a textbook and a novel. So let's go to our web page. This is the same web page as the last time. Web design for multiple audiences, how to identify and define visitor segments. So first of all, I want to think about what do I already know about this topic? What do I know about web design? What do I know about audiences and visitor segments? And I'm thinking, well, I don't know a whole lot about visitor segments, but I've taken a class, Introduction to Web Design, so I've learned a little bit about placing things, a little bit about how there needs to be a call to action, something that the visitor needs to do on a page. So there's those things that I know already. And then identify and define visitor segments. Well, I can identify visitors. How would I identify visitors for a web page? Maybe I may want to look at some demographics like their ages, what part of the country, maybe their education level. Another way I might want to identify visitors is maybe like what they're searching for when they get to my website, my web page. What were they looking for in the first place, and did it really get to where they are? So that's kind of making some inferences. And as I go through using previewing, I look at my headlines, identifying different visitor groups. So what I already know about defining visitors by demographics or by interest. And so looky here, service of interest, industry, location, relationship to the company. So I make these connections and I kind of make some educated guesses. So I look at, they say it's a matter of prioritizing these visitor groups on the basis of their value to the business. So that's something new that I have learned that I didn't know before. Instead I was thinking of one way, here's a new way to look at it. So that's going to help me when I draw some conclusions. Okay, so that's a web page. Just kind of thinking about what you already know so that you can make these connections. When we get to a textbook, kind of some of the same things. When I look, okay, here's an introduction. And this introduction, they're giving a case study, in a sense, with Enron. And so, well, guess what? My husband used to work for the company that did the accounting for Enron. So I'm very familiar with Enron and its rise and fall. So, I can take what I knew back then and put it together with what I am learning about business ethics. And so I could read through. I'm not going to read through, but as I look through, this is showing the fall of the stock. That's what this graphic is, how the price just fell to nothing in a matter of a month and a half. And so anyway, a summary about ethics as I go through, moral versus non-moral standards, etiquette. So I'm thinking, okay, I look at etiquette, and I think, well, etiquette to me is manners, saying please and thank you, things like that. So what is, are there business ethics in relation to etiquette, or is it one and the same or what? So I can think of that. What do I know about morals? I think of the Ten Commandments. Those are all moral laws, and etiquette and how it relates to business. So I take what I already know and I'm going to try to match it with what I'm learning. So that is in a textbook situation. Now with our novel, so you kind of take, you kind of think about, all I have is this, what's on the back of the book. So some ideas that I may have is, okay, this is a girl who likes to be in total control. So I understand that. I like to have things controlled in my realm when possible. And so most of her life is keeping herself away from anything or anyone that could infect her. So I'm thinking, well, she's pretty stressed out. And then here's the other character, Will Newman, just wants to get out of the hospital and he doesn't care. He doesn't care about anything. He's just going to turn 18 and leave. Well, I can relate to that because I have some teenage boys that act that way at home. So I can connect with the girl and I can understand the mentality of the boy. So as I go into reading this novel, I can kind of think about what I already know, as far as personalities go, and try to connect that and draw conclusions like, why does Will want to be so reckless? Or why does Stella want to be so controlling? I can make those kind of um, inferences, and that's what we're making educated guesses when we infer or make inferences. So anyway, that's making inferences, and that's one reading strategy that just really helps you to connect with what you're reading and learn it and retain that information.